Continuing to monitor what's going on in the Middle East after another attack on Friday. Israel hit Iran directly for the first time ever. The move in response to Iran's strikes last weekend after Israel killed two top Iranian generals on April 1st. Thankfully, Iranian officials are already signaling that they have no plans to respond. Israel's strike appears to be a message to Tehran: we can hit you and your nuclear sites if we want to. But if you thought the Biden White House even cared about the possibility of a broader conflict, a World War III, think again. Here's how Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre kicked off Friday's press briefing.
I know there's a lot of interest in reports from the Middle East overnight, and we understand that, we get that. I'm going to say it now, though I know you all will certainly ask me about it, that we do not have any comment on the reports at this time.
Unbelievable. Meantime, you have everyday Americans. They're becoming more and more anxious, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Anger, it continues to boil over on our city streets, right outside this very studio. We're seeing it happening.
Someone who was recently arrested by the guile of the NYPD and the force of Columbia University. I refuse to remain silent.
You know, it's really incredible to me when you see all of these protests out on the streets. They're so angry. They want to cover their faces. They act like they're so passionate and resolute about their cause. Also, isn't it ironic that these same people calling for the demise of America are gleefully taking handouts from the government to pay off their college loans, right? What's even more sickening is that most of these anti-American protesters, they're spoiled brats. So I guarantee you had tutors, private schooling, you name it, so they could get into these six-figure-a-year Ivy League schools. Here's an idea for everybody out there. How about someone charter a jet, right? You got all these billionaire, Democrat billionaires, George Soros, right? Why not come out there, charter a jet, all for one-way plane tickets to all of these disillusioned, brainwashed people to their favorite Middle Eastern oppressed country, right? Why didn't these same people protest Syria's Assad, killing of the thousands of Muslims? How about when the Uyghur Muslims, they're being enslaved in China? No, they seem to be outraged about what's going on in Gaza, but they don't care about thousands and thousands of Muslims historically being killed. They don't care about Muslim people. These protesters, they hate America. This is all about hating Jews. And these protesters, do they not realize that the LGBTQ plus times 10 members would probably be ushered to the nearest rooftop upon landing in their favorite oppressed country? They also, I have to wonder, are they clueless or are they just really stupid?
الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا! الموت لإسرائيل! الموت لإسرائيل!
That was in Dearborn, Michigan. Somebody shouting death to America, death to Israel. Were there any arrests? I'm all for free speech, but not for hate speech. I am glad, though, that those protesters are finally saying the quiet part out loud. The left-wing media calls these protests, but really, they call them pro-Palestinian. Again, these are anti-American. They are pro-Hamas, pro-terrorists. They don't just hate Israel. They don't just hate all Jews. They hate all Americans. They hate me. They hate you. Yet they can't live without us, right? They're parasites, slowly killing the very being that provides sustenance to them, which is America. All of this chaos, a direct result of Joe Biden's weakness on the world stage. Check out this latest gem from Joe Biden, no doubt causing China's Xi Jinping to guffaw aloud in his presidential palace.
And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
You can't make this stuff up. Cannibals for real? That's Demented Joe now saying that his uncle was eaten by other people, by cannibals. Another lie. His uncle's plane was shot over water, like the Amelia Earhart. They think she went over, down in water. So Joe wants us to believe that there were cannibals in canoes rowing along, waiting for a body to drop so then they could, say, oh, you want an arm? You want a leg? Joe Biden is a national security crisis, and the world is laughing at us. Anyone with an elderly family member knows that this is how dementia, the Parkinson's, all of it goes. The forgetting of names, the tripping, the way he walks, the way he talks, the making up of stories. Joe Biden's mental acuity, it's getting worse by the day. Yet Democrats, they do not care. They only care about remaining in power. They don't care about world peace. They don't care about American prosperity. All they do is spin and lie. Prime example, Hillary Clinton, obviously desperate to stay relevant. She's now claiming Trump is a wannabe dictator that wants to kill his opponents.
We haven't talked much about the international arena, but his bromance with Putin, and it was actually called that, I think, by the former Prime Minister of Australia, who said he saw Trump with Putin, and Trump was like, just gaga over Putin, because Putin does what he would like to do: kill his opposition, imprison his opposition, drive, journalists and others into exile, rule without any check or balance. That's what Trump really wants.
Wow, isn't that rich? Hillary Clinton accusing somebody of killing people. Is she forgetting that under President Trump, we had 0 conflicts worldwide? World leaders were also afraid of him, but Trump is also beloved. Let's take a look at Joe visiting his hometown of Pennsylvania versus the welcome mat that was rolled out Trump received when he was visiting his hometown of New York City. That's the response the crowd in Pennsylvania gave Joe Biden. Clearly not beloved. And here's how Harlem treats Trump.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you. Good. Everything good? 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
See the difference? Hear the difference? Finally, though, people who usually vote Democrat, they're waking up.
Trump, when he said he would do something, he would do it.
He doing.
He takes action, and he does care about the people.
He does care about the people, and Trump does take action. The contrast between the presidential candidates, it's stark, and the Democrats, they know it. And for Democrats, desperate times call for desperate measures. This is why they know the only way they can stop Trump's momentum sweeping this nation is by locking him up for now in a courtroom. But make no mistake, they want to lock him up for life because the swamp knows their grift will be as dead as Joe Biden's uncle if Trump wins again.